Am I the a-hole for refusing to move out of the house now I'm pregnant? I live in my childhood home, which I own the deed to. I am the sole owner. I inherited it from my grandmother who raised my siblings and I. She left it on the understanding that as the oldest of 4 kids, if she passed away, I would use the house and whatever else she left to get guardianship of my younger/half siblings and help them reach adulthood. I'm 26, and my siblings are 20, 16, and 13. Grandma passed away a few years ago, and I did what she asked regarding getting guardianship and moving back into the house and taking care of my siblings. The house is an old farmhouse, and it has a barn on the premises. My grandma converted the barn into a guest house about a decade ago. The idea was that when family came over, they could use it, but over time it became more of a very large junk room. There's still a bed and a kitchenette and a bathroom, but none of it has been used in years. I can't even say for sure that it all still works. And even if it does, you have to wade through all sorts of crap to access it all. Someone broke into it a few years back, so there's not even a lock on the door right now, and I can't shell out money for renovations. I've recently found out that I am pregnant and told my siblings. My sister, the 20-year-old, says she will not under any circumstances live with a baby. I offered to help her find a place. She said that she won't be moving out, as this is her home too, and she has every right to be here. I agreed with her, but said that the baby has a right to be here too, and asked what solution she could come up with. She then said that the barn is an option, and offered to help me move in. I said no. The barn is a glorified junk room that's only been home to spiders in the last few years. I'm not touching it. And I have a perfectly good room in the house with an adjoining room that could easily be made into a nursery. And as the guardian of the 2 younger siblings, I need to be under the same roof as them. She said that it won't take long to make the barn livable again, and I'm being a drama queen about the state of it. That the 3 of them are old enough to live apart, and the barn is about 20 seconds from the house anyway. So I'm making too big of a deal about the separate roof thing, and the barn is the only way to make sure she and our siblings don't have to hear the baby crying all the time. I said that the baby will cry, but that's hardly going to be the only noise in this house, and she can't expect me to live in a barn because of it. She said she shouldn't have to live with a baby and I'm selfish for making her do so. I said she is welcome to move out of the house, either into the barn or just elsewhere. She then accused me of trying to kick her out, which I was not doing and told her so, and called me a selfish a-hole for not moving into the barn. We haven't spoken since. Am I the a-hole? Info: I have never asked her to pay rent, but she does pay for the occasional bill or food shop. However, she doesn't have the money to move out unless it involved multiple roommates. I'm not kicking her out. She's a student. We have agreed she can stay here while she studies. And Grandma left me the house, so all my siblings would always have a home. Now for the top comments. Am I the a-hole for not letting my adult sister kick my pregnant butt out of my own house? Since you somehow need to ask, not the a-hole. More like, am I the a-hole for letting my adult sister say I should be the one to move into a barn while she gets the house? Not the a-hole. If she doesn't want to live with a baby, she can have the barn because she's the one with the issue. That's technically your house. Why would you move out of your home while being pregnant to a barn that doesn't have room for you and the baby? Or she can just leave. Live in a tent on the property. Opie is being very generous not kicking her out. She said that it won't take long to make the barn livable again. Well, that's settled. She can take the barn, not the a-hole. Was about to suggest that myself. Since the sister has such a good idea about using the barn, she can live there away from the baby. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for clearing out all the food in the house and not replenishing it because my sister has an eating disorder? I love my sister, but she eats everything inside the moment she finds it. I have a lock on my door and have gotten a small fridge. I keep fruits and water in there, some snacks, and then I will go to my boyfriend's to eat. My sister is unemployed at the moment, and my parents bring her meals, about 1,200 calories per meal, and she will scarf it down. If they leave something for me, she eats that as well. She once got so hungry, she ate Parmesan cheese from a shake bottle. As much as I love my sister, she has eaten about $400 in groceries this month alone. I tried so hard to refill it, talk it out with her, and she just binges, purges, binges more. She couldn't even be measured on my scale, which goes up to 450 pounds. I told her that I was done feeding her. She can talk to our parents and figure it out. I was done. I have the lock-in in my bedroom, which has always been there, and I eat with my boyfriend. I eat at work, but there is nothing but bottled water in the fridge for her right now. My parents are going out of town next week, and I've agreed to buy her food for the week. I told them that if she eats at all, she is going to be hungry the rest of the days. I have been very clear with them that she needs to go to some kind of therapy/clinic. There has to be something to be done for someone with her issues, but she ignores it. It is at that point where she cannot get into my Corolla to drive anywhere because she's too big. The house we live in is my childhood home, and I live there with Ashley because she is my sister. But now it's to the point where my boyfriend has had to just move in with him, which would mean my parents would have to watch her because her health is so bad she can't do a lot of things without help. I didn't sign up to be her savior. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. I'll tell you who are the a-holes here. Your parents, for just delivering excessive food, not getting her proper help, and relying on you to help her. Moving out would be a good idea. This ain't your mess. Absolutely. Sister needs help, and the fact that she's not getting it already is very, very concerning. Not the a-hole, but you need to move out. This isn't your mess to handle. Your sister has to want/seek help herself. You can't force her to get it. Just move in with your boyfriend. Clean your hands off the situation. My boyfriend has offered, and I am probably going to take him up on it. It is just a matter of getting my things from the house. I think the right thing to do is just to leave. 100% you're not the a-hole. Take your boyfriend up on the offer, and I suggest doing it quickly. Get yourself out before your parents are due to go on their trip. It will not go down well, and they may try and leave anyway. Not the a-hole. Your sister definitely has some form of hyperphagia that may or may not be treatable, and your parents' current strategy of more food is abusive and neglectful. They need to have her seen to work out the cause and come up with a strategy to bring her back to a healthy weight. These things are not your responsibility, and you would be right to get out of there. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my brother text his friend/crush using my phone because she is ignoring him? My brother became friends with this girl, and they had a common interest, which was chess. They were good friends for months and always said nice things to each other, but they had a few small arguments. One was where my brother got upset that she responded kindly to someone complimenting her on Instagram. They are only friends and nothing more. My brother had me draw portraits of her 3 times to give to her, and he admitted to have feelings for her. Everything was going good again until they had another argument. I'm not sure exactly what it was about, but it ended up with my brother messaging her little brother when he was angry and he was kind of rude. The girl saw this and started ignoring him, which made my brother really upset. He was sad a lot now because he really liked her. She also blocked him. He asked me to use my phone to message her on Instagram, and I said okay. He messaged her from my account pretending to be me, saying that he's really sad, and he's even sadder because his uncle just died. That was not true. I saw what he sent and got angry because he was trying to guilt trip her. He went to my sister and also used her account to try to talk to her. He wanted me to let him message her on WhatsApp, and I didn't want to, but he kept insisting, and I started feeling bad, so I let him. He wished her good luck on a chess tournament, and she left it on read. Another time, he sent her a poem he wrote, and it was also left on read. Eventually, I stopped letting him contact her using my phone, because she obviously wasn't going to message him anymore. My brother's birthday was coming up, and he was hoping she would wish him happy birthday at least, but she didn't, and he got sad again. Nothing happened for a while, so I forgot about it. But today, he came in all of a sudden asking to use my phone. I asked him if it was to message her, and he said yes. Of course I said no. He said that he asked my sister, and she also said no. And he cursed her, which was completely unjustified. He started getting angry, saying that it was his business, and it doesn't matter if it was wrong or not because he wanted to message her, so he should be able to. I said that it's my phone, so I'm not gonna let him, which made him even angrier, and he kept saying it was his decision, not mine. Eventually he left, but I ended up feeling bad, and I didn't know whether he was right and it wasn't my business, or if I was right to prevent him from messaging her because I thought at this point he was harassing her. Thanks for all the comments. I realized I was kinda dumb to let him do it those times, and I'm not going to feel bad anymore. Now for the top comments before reading the little update. not at A-Hall. And your brother sounds a bit unhinged to not have gotten the hint at this point. Don't let him use your phone. This isn't healthy at best, and actually dangerous at worst. What if your brother goes off on her and sends some crazy stuff threatening her using your phone? Absolutely do not allow him access again. I think he's gotten the hint but doesn't care. This looks a lot more like a won't take no for an answer kind of guy. You did the right thing here by finally saying no, and no longer continuing to enable your brother to stalk and harass this girl. But it took you too damn long to say no, so I'm gonna say everyone sucks here. You suck because you should have said no from the beginning. She obviously didn't want to maintain contact with him anymore. What good could have possibly come from allowing him to repeatedly stomp all over her boundaries and attempts to get away from him? I realize you felt bad for him, but you actively chose to continue to enable his harassment of her for far too long. That isn't excusable. This kind of behavior on his part is scary. He's manipulative and has repeatedly shown that he has zero respect for this girl and won't take no for an answer. And now he's escalated to anger when denied access to her. This is a serious problem. It's not a cute crush or hurts feelings. Opie, talk to your mom about getting your brother into therapy. Refusing to take no for an answer and escalating to violence is a big deal. He'll probably turn out alright with some well-placed perspective from a professional, but his current trajectory is heading straight to violent incel. You're the a-hole if you let this drop. Your brother was bothering that girl. Full in harassment. Your mom either doesn't have a good understanding of how bad it is, or simply doesn't understand what a big, glaring warning sign this is. Your brother has some very, very damaged ideas of what he is entitled to from women, and now is the time for him to get into some serious therapy. Please, sit down with your mom and take her through the various things he's done, including, it doesn't matter if he's wrong or not. He wanted to message her, so he should be able to. Change message to something else, and you can see where the scary mindset leads. See? Touch? Kiss? Worse. Your brother has some problems. Where is he learning that he is entitled to women's attention? Why hasn't he learned that no means no? Your brother needs help before he does something that can't be taken back. Before he becomes someone that hurts people. You all still live at home, so I'm hoping there are school or health resources available, but your parents have to take this seriously. Don't let this end with, well, we stopped him from using our phones to message this one particular girl. Job done. He needs help. Help him by making it clear to your parents how much help he needs. If you don't take this seriously, there are a bunch of mass creeds against women to point to as evidence of how dark and twisted this mindset can go if left unchecked. Update. I told my mom, and she said she already told him not to try to message her, but he tried again, so clearly it did nothing. So my sister and I went in this room with permission and told him not to ever try to message her with our phones specially. But he physically pushed us out of his room upon hearing that. But he said he won't do it again, so hopefully he stays true to his words. Now he has no way of contacting her. Now for the last story. Would I be the a-hole if I choose to not cave to my aunt's demands regarding the inheritance her father left me? My paternal grandfather passed away after a late run-in with cancer, and complications stemming from the ongoing global issue. In his will, he listed the eldest Brent, fake name, male grandchild will inherit 100% of his assets, which include land, funds, and another plot of land with a house on it, all of which are on the island where we are from. There are 20 grandchildren in total, 10 girls, 10 boys. However, only half of the boys have the Brent last name. I state because in our culture, your last name is a title in the village hierarchy. The way the law works on the island is that the eldest male grandchild is normally the successor of the family, as long as he bears the last name. That is where the rub is. I, 32 male, have 2 other older male cousins. Neither of them have the Brent last name. We'll call them Steve and Bob, which means all of the inheritance will go to me as I am, technically, the eldest male grandchild with the Brent last name. My plan was simple. I was going to divide all funds between all the grandkids, keep the house and sell the other plots and use the funds to repair the house. That caused a huge issue with my aunts because they feel her kids, Steve and Bob, deserve more because they were the ones that helped my granddad the most as I live in the States. My granddad's lawyer assured me that the full inheritance is mine to use and disperse as I see fit. Legitimately, the only thing I want of my grandfather's is his coin collection in the house. I will be dividing everything else up. Will I be the a-hole if I refuse to cave to my aunt's demands and choose to divide the assets this way? Not the a-hole. Legally, you can cut them out completely. If your grandfather wanted them to have anything, he would have named them specifically in the will. I think what you're doing is extremely fair for everyone. Plus, it sounds like cousins may have taken care of the grandfather in the hopes he'd leave them more. I think this is correct, but I think your final comment is extremely unfair. Not the a-hole. It seems like you want to share the inheritance when you could keep it all legally. Share it how you see fit. The only hard no I have is the coin collection. My grandpa's the reason I collect coins. Not the a-hole. Dear aunt, unless you shut the F up about this, you and your boys will be cut off 100% from any inheritance. I wouldn't do that to the boys. The only reason I'm deciding to spend the money get from the spare plot of landed home repairs in my gramps' house is because they were saving up to make the repairs on their dime. Update. My 25 female husband's 28 male friend, 28 female, told him that I'm cheating on him and that it is best to open our relationship and that she could help us. Original post. It all started a few weeks ago when we were having dinner with some friends, and one of them in particular began to joke that after 13 years together, surely one of us already got bored of the other. And she, 28 female, said that surely the one who got bored first was me, 25 female, because I'm the attractive one in the relationship. I know that it affected my husband, 28 male, because that night, he joked that he was actually lucky that I paid attention to him. But I thought at that moment that he would just forget about it. But he didn't. He started asking me all the time if I love him, if I'm happy with him, if I would change something about our relationship, and things like that. And yesterday while we were talking about it, I told him that I would not change him for anything or anyone. And he started crying, which was really weird because he rarely cries, and I didn't like seeing him like this. So I spoke with his sister whom he is really close. She told me that for weeks, one of our friends has been telling him that he should prepare for the day that I cheat on him or leave him. And she also told him that she thinks I'm already seeing someone else. That if he wants it to be less painful for him, it's best to open the relationship. That if he wants, she and her boyfriend can help us open our marriage, since it would be easier because we both know them. That this will help us because we will be able to experiment with more people. And I will not get bored of him, and he will also be able to have fun with her like the lifelong friends they are. According to his sister, he told her that he hates those things, but if I want to do it, he will let me experiment with more people. And to be honest, I hate everything that has to do with open relationships too. If you like it, great, but it's not my thing. And I thought that I was always clear with that. That's why I don't even know why that friend said that. She has an open relationship, but she was never one of those people who wants everyone to be like them. She used to respect us, so I don't know what happened. How can I make him understand that she lied about me because she probably just wants to sleep with him? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Y'all got together when you were 12 and he was 16? 12 and 15. My best friend's daughter, now 21, got together with her boyfriend when they were in 5th grade as boyfriend and girlfriend. So 11-12, but not sexually until late high school. They've been together ever since. Sometimes it just works out that way. Same for us. We were only romantically involved and it was that way until I was 16. She's saying all of it because it's a power trip. She's jealous of you and wants to hurt you by showing you she can get with your husband. Talk to your husband. Tell him you know what she's been saying and that you were hurt, disgusted, and betrayed by her behavior. Calmly and gently tell him his doubts in you and your commitment hurt. That you mean it when you tell him he is the love of your life and you meant your vows. If he meant his, he goes no contact with his horrible friend. Now, that you feel a bit betrayed that he didn't immediately talk to you when she started manipulating him and trying to brainwash him to destroy his marriage. Block now, and she does not deserve an explanation. With friends like that, who needs enemies? Husband should not have listened to her and talked to his wife instead. This is how distrust starts to brew. Sounds like you need a new group of friends, because I have no idea why you're still entertaining them. And when you take your exit, you should punch whomever it is in the face for putting these accusations out there. Jokes aside, I don't know how you could maintain a friendship with these types of people who throw your damn marriage into a spiral. Would not even be a second thought to me. They're out of my life for good if they're making false accusations against me. Okay, let's review. 1. She injects insecurity into your husband, basically telling him that you either will cheat or have cheated or want to cheat, and there's no reason for you to stay with him. 2. She tells him that, reading between the lines, an open relationship is the only way to handle that without losing you in the process. 3. She tells him that her and her partner are the way to start getting into open relationships. Seems to me she's a freaking snake who just wants to bang your hubby, but knows he's too good a man to cheat on you. What you do is end a friendship with her. Tell your husband that as far as you are concerned, the only threat to the marriage is the BS she's saying. You don't want an open relationship. You want him, and she knows that. So for her to say these things says to you that she has an ulterior motive. And for that reason, you suggest that you and he, as a couple, end that friendship. She lied because she wants your husband. Ask him if he ever would have thought all of those things from anything you yourself have said or done. If you have been consistently faithful, loving, and happy with him, why would she repeatedly tell him otherwise? If she had his best interest truly at heart, wouldn't she be trying to bolster his confidence and encourage his marriage? Instead, she is undermining his confidence and placing doubt in his mind, things that can easily push a marriage into trouble. See if you can get him to see that her behavior is not that of a friend. It is the behavior of a person with an agenda, who doesn't care if they hurt others. And now for the update. I talked to my husband and he told me everything she told him. Apparently, she's been telling him for months that he is not attractive enough to keep me for long, that love is not everything and that looks are important to everyone, and that people who say they don't care about beauty are lying. And that angered me so much, because for me, my husband is really beautiful, and I love him more than anyone in this world. If it wasn't like that, I wouldn't have been with him for 13 years, and she knows that. And the worst part is that my husband believed her because she destroyed his self-esteem with all those things that are not true, just because she wanted to sleep with him. And one of her partners, who I think she said in his late 40s or something, with me. Or at least that's what she said. She has 2 boyfriends or whatever, and one of them apparently knows me. I don't know how, because we never met him. And he told her that he would like to know if he could have a chance with me. That's why she's been messing with my husband's mind all these months. That's what she told us when we confronted her. She also admitted that she likes my husband, not romantically, but physically. And that's why she also wanted to convince him to sleep with her, because she has liked him for years. Honestly, I don't understand anything about that world of having 2 or more partners. And I'm not interested in knowing anything either. I just know that I find it disgusting. If you want to have a harem, that's up to you. Personally, I don't want that, and I find it disgusting that they don't understand it. Like, respect the people that don't like that. Is that so difficult to understand? She apologized many times, but my husband didn't forgive her, and I don't intend to forgive her either. She behaved like an idiot, and it is impossible for her to win back our trust. On the other hand, my husband and I are fine. Of course, we had a lot of talks about what happened these last few weeks and about our relationship, but we're fine, and that's all that matters to me, that our little family's well, for us and for our children. Block her and everything, both of you. Cut her out of your lives. Agree. These are not the actions of a friend. Cast this viper out of your midst. Also, make sure to drag her on main, because I bet your husband's ear isn't the only ear she was dripping venom into. Additionally, and this will require a more deft touch, you have to address your husband problem. We all have insecurities, but he allowed his to go on for months and take complete control and undermine your trust. He was apt to pray for this, apparently. Maybe he could have resisted, maybe he was powerless. Point is, he fell for it and it can happen again. He needs to work that out by himself, as in get some therapy. I'm really happy to hear of this outcome and that the cooler heads have prevailed. She is a snake. She was more than happy to break up a 13-year-long relationship, just so that one of her F-buddies could have a chance with you. This is not just behaving like an idiot. This is very insidious behavior. Please cut her off from your immediate and extended family completely. You would need to let all your friends and family know exactly what she did. Don't think of having mercy on her or let this slide. She certainly wasn't thinking about that when she was trying to poison your marriage. The reason why you would want this to be known far and wide, because if she did this to you without compunction, she may very well do it again and again with other couples that are happily together. She may be more than happy to leave broken marriages in her path for her own personal pleasure. Next story. My best friend confessed feelings to my girlfriend and now she wants to cut him out of our life. I said our life and not mine because she says she cannot control me, but she never wants to be around him anymore. So if she and I are together, she doesn't want to see him. She also says I should really think how good of a friend he is, if he is confessing feelings and saying I love you to his best friend's girlfriend and future wife. I, 28 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 30 female, for 2 years now. And honestly, it's the best relationship of my life. We have discussed engagement and marriage, and have also met each other's families. My best friend, 27 male, on the other hand, is someone I have known for almost 8 years, and even lived with him for 4 years. In fact, that's how I met him, as roommates. Till 2 days ago, I never would have suspected that he saw my girlfriend in any other way than his best friend's girlfriend and would be life partner. But yesterday night, my girlfriend came home from office and said we need to talk and told me what had transpired. My girlfriend and my best friend's office buildings are in the same tech park, so they occasionally see each other. And that's why when my best friend joined her when she was having tea, it didn't surprise her. But what he said surprised her though. He told her that he was harboring a crush on her since I introduced them, and he could no longer keep it to himself since we were discussing getting engaged. He said he owed it to himself to tell her. My girlfriend told him to F off and walked away. She also blocked him immediately on every platform. Then she told me. I asked my best friend what happened and he admitted to it, but also said he never asked her to cheat on me. He was just confessing his feelings. My girlfriend, on the other hand, says there was no point confessing his feelings, and he definitely didn't have noble intentions as he claims. She says she doesn't want anything to do with him because he betrayed both of us and disrespected our relationship. I am a little torn here. Of course, I am angry at him, but I also have a lot of history with the guy. Would appreciate some advice. Thank you. Now for the top advice before the mini update. Your girlfriend did exactly what one should do if they are in a committed relationship. And yes, she is right in cutting him out of her life and your joint life. And she is also right that you should seriously consider cutting him from your life as well. Actually, let's put it another way. If you don't cut him from your life, can you ever really trust him? And on top of that, your girlfriend will probably end up leaving you over it. Sounds like he would rather have a crappy friend than a good girlfriend/wife. She's most upset about how disrespectful it is to OP. Sounds like a great woman. Hope he realizes that. How many people would do what she did in this situation? LMFAO. Dude has a golden life partner, and he's worried about this piece of turd friend who wants his girl. Man, I wish my ex did that when his best friend confessed his feelings to him. It didn't matter that his best friend was male and that my ex was straight. It still bothered me to no end when my ex put his friend's needs over mine, just because they were best friends. It's awkward as hell when I'm on the couch with my head on my ex's shoulder, and the best friend sits on the other side of him and does the same. This was a constant thing, and I definitely hated his friend's attitude towards me when all three of us hung out. Hurt a lot because he was my friend too. We might have stayed together if it weren't for his friend. I asked my best friend what happened, and he admitted but also said he never asked her to cheat on me. He was just confessing his feelings. This expressing your feelings thing has really gotten ridiculous as of late. You have rationality to gauge whether your emotions are valid or not, and just kill it right there and then if it's not productive to harbor. Can you imagine pedos just go up to kids and express their feelings? Mini update. Thank you guys. I accept I was being a tool in how I responded to the situation. He was my best friend, but in this case, he behaved like a stranger who had absolutely no concern or respect for my relationship. It will be hurtful to let the friendship go, but I know this is what needs to happen. As for my girlfriend, I will apologize to her for being a tool, and maybe take her for a weekend pampering session. She's the best. Last story. I don't feel comfortable attending friend group's game night anymore, after a female friend confessed her love for my boyfriend and I'm feeling very conflicted. This girl messaged him the other night point blank, saying that she loves my 28 female, boyfriend 32 male in a non-platonic way. Boyfriend and I share a phone, so I saw the message pop up and let him know what I saw. He seemed kind of surprised but not bothered by it like I was. He said it's normal for people to develop crushes when spending time and having fun together, which sure I agree with, but love? It makes me feel uncomfortable, and I said I didn't want to go to the next game night because I feel like boundaries have been crossed. I feel like I'm going crazy because I'm the only one who finds this really weird and uncomfortable. When I told my boyfriend I'm not going to go and that I'm not going to force any decision on him, he opted for canceling game night instead as we have it at our house. I feel like this is a bit of a cop-out for not dealing with it and setting boundaries with this person. It makes me feel like a prick. I said I could put my feelings aside and that I don't want to ruin things for others, but he insisted he doesn't want me to have to do that. Now he changed his mind and wants to go ahead with it, but I definitely don't feel like going if she's going to be there, and nothing has been resolved. I'm confused and just really need some outside opinions. Thanks. He needs to shut her down immediately and be very clear with her so there is no misunderstanding. That is on him. I would not be comfortable with it, but I certainly wouldn't let her be near him without me around. Good point. It will be an anxious and weird time, but I think I would feel even more anxious if I wasn't there to see what's up. I'm surprised because she didn't seem like the type of person to do that, and I'm worried that boyfriend won't shut it down properly for convenience sake. I guess time will tell. Thanks. 2 things. 1. Doesn't she know you two share a phone? 2. Off topic, but why do you two share phones? I feel like she may know since he's forgotten to switch out of my account in the group chat and messaged. I feel like it's come up that this is the case, since it makes coordinating with a group harder, but I can't say for sure if she does. If my partner didn't shut someone down immediately in these circumstances, I'm afraid I'd be suspicious something had already happened between them. Okay, your feelings are valid, but I think you're going about this slightly wrong. This girl knows your boyfriend is taken, so there was nothing for her to gain by declaring her love for him. This isn't a simple crush. I'm assuming she's in her mid-20s. She should have outgrown this mentality of, oh, I'm in love with this person who is in a steady relationship. I must tell him. Her behavior will only get her hurt. Either she wins your boyfriend, gaining an untrustworthy man, or he refuses her advances. Things get awkward and she loses 2 friends, you and boyfriend. Either outcome is a net negative for her. The game is held at your house. I don't think you should stop attending game night in your own home, because that's punishing you. You also should not cancel game night, because that's punishing everyone. This friend needs to be banned from game night for a specific period of time. Restore her invitation upon receipt of a genuine apology directed to you and your boyfriend. This seems like the right answer. She's been going through a hard time lately, so maybe it was a moment of crappy judgment but it's still uncool. I'm going to present this as the option to my boyfriend that makes the most sense. It's super childish, and I don't want to just brush this under the rug. Update to my husband's female colleague. Original post. I do not know your Reddit name, but you finally gave me a reason to use this throwaway. I know you looked through the sub after you got advice here telling you to come clean to me about your affair with my husband. I personally couldn't find a thread that fit the description, but could be the wrong sub or you deleted it. So if you read this and it sounds familiar, then yes, it's about you. I have no plans of speaking to you in the future, but I want to make a few things clear. Yes, I do remember when we first met at a Christmas party and you kept trying to get my husband alone to talk. You pouted so much when he refused. I thought you would quack. Do you remember how all of his colleagues were friendly with me? I remember when you approached my husband and I walking home from my birthday dinner. I'm pretty sure this was a coincidence, but seeing my husband practically jump away from you trying to hug him was the highlight of my night. I know my husband is sexy. Of course I know. I married him and had kids with him. But I bet you didn't know because you have only been at the company for a few months that your coworkers used to be my coworkers. I know all about you trying to get him alone after meetings. Not only straight from my husband because you make him feel uncomfortable, but also from them. Did you think he wouldn't talk to me after you accidentally sent him 2 provocative photos on 2 separate occasions? Did you think you could really get him? Did you look at his Instagram and think, wow, I want that life. I just need to lie to his wife and it's all mine? Do you think knocking on my door when I'm hosting a dinner party to hand me printouts of your conversations with him that I would go off at the deep end to divorce him? I'm pretty sure HR have spoken to you already about your inappropriate behavior and misuse of his personal file. I'm sure you were shocked. Maybe you didn't think my husband would report it. I don't know what repercussions you will get, and I don't care. But if you come near me, my husband, our kids, or our nice home again, police will be called. A word of advice. If you're going to fabricate messages, you might want to get rid of the wrong number or at least replace it with a name. Now for the top comments before reading the update. I desperately need to find this woman's post because I am so invested in the drama. I'm sorry you and your family are going through this, OP, but it's like a car crash. I can't look away. It's absolutely fine. I would be in the same in your shoes. I honestly don't know if it's revenge for him not having an affair with her or if she really believes it. Honestly, it could go either way. She could be mentally ill and genuinely believe the scenario she's created in her head, or she could just be taking revenge on your husband and your family because he refused an affair like you said. Regardless, she sounds dangerous. Please stay safe. Oh man, I hope some handy Redditor finds the mentioned post. I could swear I did read pretty much this exact story from this other woman this week, except she truly didn't seem to understand how ridiculously inappropriate she was being to the married guy. She's totally schoolgirl crushing on the guy, trying to flirt at work and inappropriately cornering the guy and trying to get him alone. All he's got a wife, but it's just too hot to stop myself. Until Reddit ripped her a few new ones. I remember a post like that a few days ago, but I think it was a neighbor she was crushing on and not a coworker. She was fully convinced he was also in love with her, even though nothing indicated that was the case. Honestly, I tried looking for it when she handed me the printout. She had an entire monologue memorized with apologies. It mentioned Reddit a few times, but I couldn't find anything when I looked that night. It could have been a different sub or she deleted it. I had a coworker who did something similar about 20 years ago. She was obsessed with a married coworker who was nice and had trained her. His wife worked in the same place but a different department. This woman would openly talk about wanting to sleep with him and not caring about his marriage. She stalked and harassed his wife and confronted her at a group event. She attacked his wife, who promptly kicked her butt and had her arrested. People are nuts. Wow, they really are out there. Mini update. She has been fired with immediate effect. I will update when we know our next steps. Thank you for the support so far. Now for the full update. First, I want to say thank you to everyone who supported my husband and I in the first post. This might go on for a little bit, so I'm sorry in advance. I probably won't be as articulate as I was in my first post. I never found her post, by the way. If all you want is the update, skip to the bottom line. But a few people implied that there was no smoke without fire. Usually I would agree. I'd have been on the other side making these comments myself on my actual account, but my husband is also on Reddit and saw the comments and he wanted me to add some prior events. My husband is high up within the company marketing department that works closely with the event team in their field. When they work together on a project, big or small, they have to have meetings. The bigger the project, the more meetings needed. My husband worked very closely with a colleague that went on maternity leave. The woman was highly recommended by a senior employee in the events team. So after she had trainings on the systems and brought up to speed by her department head and my husband for a big project, he was friendly towards her. He remained professional at all times, and the meetings they had were also never alone. The project was a success, and then another big project landed in their laps. It was at this time the woman started acting strange, just before the Christmas period, asking for clarification after meetings when the points had been discussed thoroughly. When my husband rebuffed this and directed her to her own manager, it escalated to offering to discuss work matters over coffee/lunch/dinner countless times a week, telling him that he looked good that day, and this was done using her work email. She met me at a Christmas party and sulked when she couldn't get him alone, and a few days later sent my husband the first picture via social media. He didn't actually see the first picture until after she apologized in person. He accepted her apology before checking his messages when he was back at home with me. She had put an "oops, sorry, wrong person" message straight after it, so when he clicked that message, the first picture was there, which she could have deleted before he actually saw the message. A week later, a similar thing happens with a second picture on a different social media platform. He saw who the message was from and asked me to open it. It was a little more provocative than before, but when she apologized, she asks him if he told me about the pictures, as she didn't want me to get the wrong idea, as they were both previously a drunken mistake. She was not a friend on any of his social media, so I don't know how she thought that was an excuse. My birthday comes along, and when she went to hug my husband, he jumped away as her actions were getting him worried. But after that, her actions calmed down a little bit. She sort of stopped asking him out to discuss work so much. But then last Monday happened. As for the update, she was fired for inappropriate actions and gross misconduct, and this has led to someone else being suspended pending investigation. As my husband and I were both working from home due to the events that happened last week, I was unaware at the time of my post that she had been suspended pretty much straight after my husband reported this to HR on Wednesday. He handed over the text exchange, the messages on his social media, with proof he never responded, and he printed out the work emails he had received also. The reason for the rapid response was due to the nature of the allegations, but I can confirm she was fired yesterday. I have not been told what she said, but she did not try to raise any allegation against my husband. In my comments, I explained a little about the HR department's system. The company uses an electronic personal database, which only HR employees can log into. No other employees should have access to this system, yet an employee in the IT department gave the woman an authorized access to the HR system. A report was run and she had been in my husband's file 34 times. I don't know what she actually did in there, but apparently there was so many amendments that they had to restore his file from a recent backup. So, the IT employee has been suspended pending an investigation, but I don't know much else about that, as it's not my job to know. I'm only recounting what I have been told by my husband and former colleagues. The past 48 hours has been crazy, but I'm glad that this post reached other platforms, as a relative of hers found a post and reached out to us to apologize for the woman's actions. After a few messages were exchanged, we had a very long telephone conversation. I will not go into specifics due to their privacy, however, I can say the following things with permission. The woman has been fixated on other men before, resulting in her having an order of protection against her and her needing treatment. The family believes this is due to a traumatic event she witnessed when she was a child. She is normally very stable when she has medication. The only problem with that is when she is stable, she believes she is completely healthy and stops taking the medication, causing a relapse. The person that she had a text exchange with was her teenage niece who was not aware of her aunt's condition. The niece was under the impression it was a joke, then became scared when we called Wednesday morning, so she hung up. She reported this to her family and they found out later that day that the woman had been suspended. The family found a post and my comment referencing the text exchange and got my husband's name from the woman after confirming the post was her. The woman is currently staying with other relatives about 4 hours away from where we are. We will be contacted if she goes missing from their care, especially while the medication is working its way back into her system. We will not be pressing charges at present, but we have logged this with the police, especially after talking about it with our friend and her family are aware of this. Our security is being updated within the next 2 weeks. The school and daycare are also aware of the people who can and can't drop off/pick up my kids with photos of them. They have also been provided a photo of her, and to contact my husband and/or I if they see her near the schools or attempts to pick my children up. Hopefully, I won't need to provide a further update to this, and I'm going to have a bottle of wine and hopefully my husband and I will have a very good night's sleep. Edit. The niece found a post and recognized that some of the text exchange I referenced in my comments, possibly the part about kicking me out of my house with my kids, as that was the only part I was not too vague about. But I don't actually know what else has gone on in their family behind the scenes, as I didn't speak directly to her. Yikes, what a saga. Glad the situation has been figured out and dealt with, so you can begin to exhale. Let's all hope the former colleague continues to get the help she desperately needs. Hard to imagine how traumatized her brain must be. Yeah, I feel a little guilty for posting now, but it ultimately did get her the help and support she needs. You shouldn't feel guilty. Look at all the good that has come from the post. Her family's aware and hopefully she can get some help. She is with her support system. That is the best case outcome. And you and your husband know you are safe for now, so you can relax and heal a bit. You did well. This is so scary. Glad she was fired. What do you mean by amendments? I'm assuming she was editing stuff on your husband's file? She had changed a lot of information on his file. I'm not allowed to know the exact extent, but she had access to everything HR would. They managed to confirm that she didn't access anyone else's file also, and the amendments were reverted back when the backup was restored. My guess is she changed herself to the emergency contact. Glad she didn't access anyone else's file at least. Did you ever find her old post? Was that just a lie? Was she feeding her husband baked good? I got so many questions and none are answered. I never found a post, but with people making so many suggestions, I admit I was overwhelmed with crazy posts. I looked through them and none of them matched. But I honestly don't know what I'm looking for, because she either fully believed she was having an affair with my husband and posted about that, or she admitted she lied to get me out the way. I also think it's a possibility she has posted, but changed too many details to remain anonymous so I couldn't recognize it. I didn't ask her family for her post history when we spoke. She never baked anything for my husband. She wasn't in a relationship either. Little annoyed with commenters in the OG post saying, well, where there's smoke. Like, yeah, the fire was OP's husband being harassed. My first thought based on OP's description was that she was stalking him. The further it went on, the more I assumed she had done this before. There was just too much going on that pointed towards him being honest, especially since OP was still in contact with coworkers who corroborated everything. Last story. A guy at work is giving me silent treatment because I didn't accept sweets he bought me. This guy at work in his late 30s/early 40s asked me, a 29 female, out a couple of times and I have said no every time. He has even asked me why I've said no. He does, however, leave chocolates and other sweets on my desk. I explained to him I don't eat the volume of food he's leaving me, so to please stop. I also explained I want to be healthier. I also don't want to accept because I feel he's doing it to pick up, and I don't want to give the wrong idea. Last week I returned from lunch, and he had a tray of sweets for me that he had purchased while on his lunch. I was so full for my lunch, and I'm really trying with my diet and gym. So I said, no thanks, give them to someone else in the office perhaps. He got very annoyed, and now has given me the silent treatment since. This includes saying hi and bye to everyone but me daily. I find it kind of funny, to be honest. I felt bad at first for rejecting a nice gesture, but now I just feel he's overreacting. Adding on, yes, it's good he's leaving me alone, but the absolute silent treatment does make it awkward, because I do have to work with this person. Edit, right now I am not going to report him to HR or kick up a fuss. I merely made this post to get it off my chest. I am also not worried I no longer get attention from him as it was unwanted. I'm just feeling awkward about the situation. Thanks all. Now for the advice. Please report this to someone. Leave a paper trail in case the situation escalates. He clearly doesn't respect your boundaries. I have a coworker who was ignoring me without saying why. It was at least partially my fault. Turns out my stupid sense of humor is not appreciated by everyone, and it was really getting in the way of work. I've recently moved teams, so I don't see him much anymore, but I've found out that he has been doing the same thing to much more senior people, and they're not happy about it. I was actually relieved to hear that it wasn't just me. OP, mention all of this to HR or a supervisor if you have one you trust. Coworkers who cannot and will not communicate will always negatively affect the workplace. Haha, good. Now you can ignore him in peace. Tell HR though if he gets snarky. No, tell HR now. And tell more if he continues. This is best. You want to be ahead of the problem with HR so they can take immediate action if he does it again. Otherwise, they might say, this is the first time we are hearing of this, so we've noted it for now, instead of actually helping you. This reminds me of something that happened to me when I was working at a little cafe in Hawaii. I was going through a really hard breakup, just trying to save money and get back on my feet. I met a guy who worked there too, who was also from the same area I was from, East Coast, US. We bonded a bit, and he was funny, and we formed a platonic friendship. One day, we grabbed lunch together and we each paid for our own food. Then he sold me a little weed. It was clearly not a date. When we were about to part ways, he leaned in and attempted to kiss me on the lips. I backed away and said, "Whoa, were you just about to kiss me?" And he says, "What can I say? I'm bold." I let him know I wasn't looking for anything romantic. I'd ask if we were cool, and he says yes. From that point forward, he proceeded to give me the silent treatment at work. And when I confronted him to ask what was up, he just pretended like everything was fine, and then continued to ignore me. And this kind of thing has happened to me multiple times over the years. It's definitely a thing. Guys getting butthurt upon rejection.